Hi, I'm Mark Nickerson, East Lyme's first selectman. Welcome to East Lyme Issues and Answers, where every week or so we get together and talk about what's going on in town. And this week will be no different. So welcome, thanks for tuning in. We are smack dab in the middle of another one of those typical New England hot summers where we're getting lots of sunshine, lots of great beach days, just a classic summer. And I hope you're out there enjoying it. Don't forget, summer doesn't end on Labor Day. Some of the best weather is in September. So I'm expecting whole lots of people downtown and enjoying our beaches, our boardwalk. And boy, the feedback on the boardwalk has been nothing but spectacular. People are enjoying that. And heading down to the new Niantic Bay Beach. It's a technical name for it. It's a Cheney Beach, or it's a boardwalk beach, where we have the new volleyball courts, which are getting lots of use, and a nice big beach where people are discovering that, and there's a little bit more room down there to spread out, and a little quieter as well. So I hope you've found your paradise this summer. I know I have, and my family has as well. Some things going on in East Lyme. Of course, every Thursday from 3 to 6 is the Farmers Market. Niantic Main Street puts this together. They're doing a great job. Every week there's a theme to it. There's been dog weeks and kid weeks and a dessert week. Please go find them. That happens through September, I believe. But get down there on Thursdays on Methodist Street. That's the street where the Niantic the bicycle shop is, down there, and right next to ProTech. Great time, great vendors down there, and a variety of them, and they change out. So I hope you've been visiting them. The ProTech Music Series every Friday night. If you haven't been down there on a Friday night, get down there. There's hundreds of people on our sidewalk. And if you just roll that tape back 10 years, there was nobody down there. And no offense to the people that were down there. But it's because it's figuratively of saying this, of course. But the improvement of downtown, the beautification of downtown, the attraction of restaurants and shops, and things like the ProTech Music Series. I have brought people downtown like never before in the history of this town. It's beautiful. And my wife and I have made it a date night. Every Friday night we'd go down, we'd choose a new restaurant, and we hit it. We'd bump into friends sometimes and pull our tables together, or spend some quiet time together at the end of a week. And then walk the sidewalk, grab an ice cream, and there's a great band playing out on Main Street at the ProTech auto dealers. Fix-It shop there. Probably the best looking auto repair shop in the country, with all the flowers and the lights and a music stage. Pretty cool. So that's a free concert. They actually put out some food too. And they ask for donations, and all the money that goes into the donation bin goes to area high school music programs. East Lyme, Salem, Old Lyme, there's Montville, there's a few other schools. And so this money is being generated right back into the music program. As you might know, I'm in a band. We play down there. We'll play down there on September 2nd. And it's such a pleasure to give our talent up, to give back to this great cause, because we know what we're doing is creating entertainment where people will be inspired to put a $20 bill in the pot. Maybe it's $1. But it will go back to the kids, and that's really cool. So head down there. It's pretty awesome. On that note, notice the pun. On that note, we're putting in a band shell at McCook's. That all got approved through appropriations, the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, zoning, etc. We're going to be putting that band shell in at a different location than we thought originally. It'll be closer to the pavilion, where there's a flat lawn, a great lawn, if you will, to borrow the term from the Central Park Great Lawn. So there's a great lawn up at McCook's, a nice flat area that rolls, and we'll put the band shell up by the pavilion, heading out toward the flagpole into the water. Nice spot up there as well. We couldn't build it because of a deed restriction where we had hoped to put it, which was closer to the hole in the wall area. But looking forward to that. We're putting the final details together. You'll see some development on that this fall. Be ready for next year. Very exciting news. On August 14th, if you're seeing this before August 14th, then you can head down to the Samuel Smith House. August 14th is a Sunday. There's the Classic Motorcycle Show. This will be the second year they're putting this on. It's a fundraiser for the Smith Harris House. The Smith Harris and the Friends of Smith Harris are putting this on. Great idea, because there's classic auto shows everywhere, but there are people out there with great motorcycles, and it's a fun time. There'll be food, and there might be some music down there. Go on down on that Sunday, August 14th, the Smith Harris House. If you're seeing this after the August 14th, sorry you missed it, but do keep in touch with Smith Harris. They have a website and a Facebook page, I do believe. Niantic Main Street is responsible for all the flowers downtown. There's also an East Lyme beautification project that there's this group that also puts some flowers out as well, and I'll give thumbs up to them as well. But Niantic Main Street, all those pink flowers, all those planters, all those hanging things, they do a spectacular job, and I just want to give a shout out to them. They do great work, and of course they put on the light parade and the Halloween thing and many other things as well, the holiday stroll. They're also putting Bargains by the Bay on. That will be August 11th through the 14th. That's Thursday through Sunday, where there'll be tent sales, all the merchants downtown. There's new merchants down there as well. So this is becoming a great draw. So go on down to Main Street, August 11th through the 14th. We're expecting good weather, and bring your Visa card. How's that? Many other events coming up. I'll update you in a couple of weeks when we put another one of these shows together. I do want to give you some warning with some things going on. There's construction that continues throughout town. Of course, Society Road is being paved by the middle school and Lily B School. That road continues. Latimer and Cavison Road, thank you. My guest will be introduced in just a second, but he's also my interpreter. Is being done, and also the Bush Hill neighborhood. The entire Bush Hill neighborhood is being repaved, which means all the storm drains and all the things up there also have to be reworked. So lots of work happening around town, but also the state is investing money in our town and in our area, and we have to be wary of that. The Society Road Bridge that's been under construction for the better part of a year is nearing completion. You'll see that open up, but with delays because they'll be shutting the other bridge down and reworking. So be cautious of that. Eversource is going around town cutting trees throughout our town and bringing back the jungle that kind of comes across and it gets near our wires. And that is only to improve their service to us. So not only the trees near are on our roads, but also their high tension wires that run through the town, through where Gateway is, up across Lover's Lane and over to Old Lyme. That right-of-way is being worked as well. So you've noticed trees out there all year. They continue to do work, so be cautious and when you see the work being done in your area. A couple other notes. The Niantic River Bridge, down Route 1 as you're going through Golden Spur, that area continues to be worked on, that bridge. And that's been a little bit of a nightmare, as has the Oil Mill Road, where they're replacing the bridge that goes over Oil Mill Road in Waterford, but that's been backing up highway traffic as well as a regular volume of summer traffic. I've never seen 95 as bad as it's been this summer. Please be patient. Please avoid the highway whenever possible. Know that when the highway's backed up, people are coming through on 156 and Route 1. There's not much we can do about it. We pleaded with the state. They have the intersection of 95 and 395 now on a high priority list of work that needs to be done. They recognize that this is a terrible stretch of road. They have come out and recognized that through our persistence. I would expect to see work done, not in the next 5 years, but because it takes that long to get funding and engineering. But that 5 years is fast track for state DOT, and we thank them for the attention that they are about to give to that area. There's another bridge that's going to be worked on, and this is going to be very troubling in the Flanders area. You have to know this is coming. This is going to be a 1-year project, and it's going to be a nightmare. Right in front of Ron's Guns is Patagonia River, the Patagonia River, right next to Upper Patagonia Road. And there's a little bridge there. You wouldn't even know it's there unless you're looking for it. Next time you're going by, you will see it. And certainly in the next year, you're going to know it's there. Because they're going to shut one side of that bridge down. And they're going to have alternating traffic go over the second half of that bridge. In other words, there'll be a traffic light put on. You've seen this in other areas, rural areas mostly, not in a highly traveled area like this one is. And this is the only way they can do it. So we're a little disappointed the way the state's going to be doing it, but there's no way around it. This is how it has to be done. So half the bridge will be reconstructed while we travel on the other half of the bridge, alternating traffic. So there'll be a stoplight. We'll let the traffic going to the north go through, and then that will turn green. And so you understand. My concern is on Fridays and Sundays when all that New York and New Jersey traffic comes running up Route 1, thinking they're taking a shortcut. They're actually walking into a bee's nest of activity, and there'll be a heavily backed up area for the next year. It starts right after Labor Day, and it goes probably through Labor Day next year. So next summer will be a mess. Be aware of that, understand that's going on, and the regular traffic on 95 plus this will, for the folks that live on that side of town, in that corner of our town, just be aware of what's going to go down there. And accept it, because there's not much else you can do with it. I have issued a police study for independent police force in our town. We've had resident state trooper for many, many years, that system, and we're not a small little town anymore with 6 or 7 police guys and the resident state trooper. We have 21 officers who are professionals. This is their career. This is what they choose to do. They represent our town well. And if you've ever had interactions with the police and needed them for something, I know they've been there for you. With the states being pretty unsure of what's going on with the state budget, and of course our costs are going up with the police resident state trooper system. We are looking at an independent study. We've been working on this for a while, and I am commissioning a subcommittee to look over all the work we've already done. We've been working on this for a better part of a year, and that detail will be coming out soon publicly. I've also commissioned a fire department study. We've actually got an outside firm. We went through appropriations and came up with $15,000 for an independent study to look at our fire departments. I'm not interested on police and fire on how we did business for the last 25 years or 30 years and how we've always done it. I'm interested in moving both forces, department and police, forward and where we need to be in the next 5, 10, 20 years. And in updating our police force, our fire departments, and bringing them into where they need to be for this town that has growth, that will have some commercial growth in the future, no doubt, and it has pressing needs, especially in the summer when our population doubles. That's about all the updates I have for you right now. There's a few more things coming up, and check my Facebook page, Mark Nickerson, Selectman. Check our town website. It's always full of information. Today I have a guest, and this guy, man, he runs things down in our town hall in his little corner of the world, the water and sewer guy. He's the director of utilities, I got it wrong. It's Brad Kargl. And Brad, your official title is what?
Utilities engineer.
A utilities engineer. But I just think you're like the vice president in charge of everything down there because it's water and it's sewer, and that's a big deal. And well, Brad, how long have you been here in East Lyme working for us?
Well, here for about 16 years.
16 years. Mm-hmm. Where'd you come from before that?
From there, I was in consulting for a good 5.5 years, and prior to that, I was in utilities in another town, and then also in the health field in a prior time to that.
So I watch you work. You got you like I have 20 balls in the air you're trying to juggle at the same time because there's always another project going on. There's always a problem because it is utilities. It's water main breaks and putting in new sewer systems and all that. What is I don't even want to ask you what the worst part of your job is, but what's the best part of your job? I'm throwing you a curveball here.
Well, I will tell you that. I mean, the people we work with every day, there's a lot of support within the town and within our department especially. We have a lot of good people, and that's how we get things done and get the cooperation overall.
We have a good staff of the water department and in the sewer department that know what they're doing, and they can be depended on. They're professionals at what they do. Again, a career they've chosen. Here they are, and they do it very, very well. They serve our community very well. We have always had a problem with water in our town, in that we're a town that's grown up quite a bit in the last 25 or go back 30 years.
Right.
And especially in the summer, our peak water use goes way up. But we're a town with aquifer. We don't have a reservoir, so we're dependent on aquifer. But with that comes stream regulations. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, the East Lyme Water Department has a number of challenges as it relates to water supply. A lot of it is regulatory imposed. So as a result of that, we have to, through permitting, manage what wells we can keep on or turn off at a particular time based on weather conditions, stream flows, and things of that nature. And so that's something we work on, and we've made some advances in the past 10 years. We've rebuilt old wells, replaced wells. We've incrementally added capacity, and we have other things in our toolbox. We've recently completed that interconnection with New London, so that gives us other additional operational flexibility, but. The long and short of it is our resources are not endless; they are finite, and which kind of leads to our another just the concern that we're having right now with dry weather, that type of thing. It's been a beautiful summer, as you said, but along with that has come the dry weather, and precipitation across Connecticut right now is down 6 inches plus, and that had prompted the Department of Public Health to issue a statewide drought advisory.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. The state issued a drought advisory.
That's correct.
And that was last week. Tell me about that. What does that mean?
They basically indicated to the state at large that we should be aware that there are stresses on our water supplies throughout the state. Some areas of the state are doing better than others, depending on where you're located. But you will notice many times in East Lyme, a lot of the rainfall that tends to hit other parts of the state breaks up or just doesn't quite make it to East Lyme. So it gets a little more pronounced, I think, in southeastern Connecticut. So on the heels of that advisory that came out, we felt it was prudent at this point in time to issue at least a voluntary water conservation notification, just to give our customers a heads up that we're okay now, but be vigilant and cognizant of the fact that our aquifers are not an endless supply, and even the water we are taking from New London with this new interconnection comes from a reservoir that also has to be managed by the city of New London, and there's strains on that. Yeah. And we don't know where the weather patterns are going to go, so it's time to at least do something like that. And basically we're trying to achieve a 10% reduction in water use voluntarily, and a lot of the water uses comes about with outdoor lawn watering, irrigation systems of that nature. So that's where the biggest demand for the water comes, and so we're asking people to minimize that, the water perhaps every other day, or if at this point you think you want to just give it up and not do any more, that's fine with us too.
Let's take a step back on that, because we're talking about voluntary water conservation. But in years past, before we had this interconnection with New London, and we want to talk about the detail on that, just to kind of remind people what that is. But in years past, up until a couple of years ago, we had a mandatory water conservation for most of the summer, almost every summer, if not every summer. And that happened for 20, 25, 30 plus years, many years in a row, or many of those years. So now we're at a point where, we do have the water, but it's, like you pointed, it's not an endless supply. And we are and you're right, the clouds seem to come from Hartford, and they get a town or two away, and they kind of just break up. We have not had a lot of rain. Even those classic thunderstorms that you get. And
Right.
we're not getting them in East Lyme.
Right.
Now, I predicted, I think with you at one point, as soon as we put out this voluntary water conservation thing, that would be like our rain dance. As soon as I have a classic car, and as soon as it really looks tattered. It really needs me to put some money into and fix the things and all that. But as soon as I fix it up, the engine's going to go. So it's it's maybe a bad analogy, but as soon as we put the water conservation in, we're going to start getting rain and our tables are going to come back up. But it's not going to recover for a while. And you pointed that out to me in a meeting that, yes, we're going to get some relief from rain.
That's right.
But it's going to take a whole lot of rain.
It's like turning a big ship around. It is, yeah.
So here we are. We're talking voluntary. We're not asking people not to clean their cars or wash their boats or water their lawns or their gardens. We're just asking for a cutback a little bit to be prudent.
That's correct.
That if you have if you have a lawn watering system and it's put on every morning, it's 4 a.m, then maybe you go every other morning. It's okay. It will still stay green, and maybe you can even cut back a little bit if there's a little bit of brown in there. That's okay too. And the same with the gardening. You do what you need to, but if you could cut back a little bit and watch the use, that it will go a long way in this town to just keeping us whole.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So what are the other suggestions? So we talked about cutting back maybe every other day on the lawn watering.
Things such as even filling pools. You may want to consider, if you use municipal water, you may want to consider using a private pool filling company for that purpose. Outdoor washing of vehicles and boats, at least the smaller boats and cars, bring to a car wash. Generally they recycle the water. You get it's a more beneficial way to keep your cars clean. Try to minimize the washing of buildings and outdoor surfaces to the extent that you can. And just general overall conservation practices. Don't let that hose run outside when you're doing something, and just really be mindful and watch for potential leaks in your toilets and throughout your household.
That's great advice. And we talked earlier about long-term water conservation, because water is the new gold, as 60 Minutes once pointed out, right? Yeah. And like we put solar panels on our houses, like we drive more economical cars with better gas mileage, so too we should be considerate of when we're replanting our yards. If you're building a home, if you are redoing the bushes in the front of the house, et cetera, that be mindful of that. And there's some ways that you can have a really updated look to your house, but also cut down on water use. What does that look like?
Yeah, well,
I know you're not a master gardener.
I've heard the term xerophytic landscapes. Drought tolerant type plantings. That would be something, going forward, someone might want to consider doing. I've seen some of that in East Lyme, and I believe that would save a customer quite a bit of water. Sometimes just the plain old rain barrels, capture some rain when we do get a heavy downpour, capture that so you can use it through the week to water your garden and things of that nature.
Right. Rain barrels are available at your local hardware store, or, it's not a bad investment. A nice idea. Nice idea. Brad, any parting words? We're talking about voluntary water conservation. We're talking about just taking a step back a little bit. It's timely message. Here we are in late August or mid-August right now, and we're heading into the dog days of summer. We know rain's coming. We know actually it's forecasted as we sit here today to be coming. But if we can cut back a little bit, it will go a long way in preserving the water we do have.
Yeah, and we'll continue to monitor this over, I think the next couple of weeks will be sort of a pivotal point, see how we're doing in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll make a decision whether anything else is necessary beyond that.
Great.
Okay.
Great. Brad Kargl, our utilities engineer and the guy in charge of our water and sewer department, has been my guest today. We're very lucky as a town to have Brad on our side running things down there. He's very, very capable, very professional. an expert at what he does. And thank you, Brad, for
Thank
being
you.
my guest. My name is Mark Nickerson. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another show. These are the dog days of summer. If you could conserve water, we'd appreciate it. Turn off the sprinkler. I know the kids are running through it. Take them down to McCook's and cool off that way. And we appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of the summer. There's plenty of things to do in Niantic. Bring your friends and maybe you're getting that new movie they're shooting down on Main Street this week. Maybe you'll get a bit part or something. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. My name is Mark Nickerson. This was Issues and Answers. So long.